You want to see some good news real quick? Remember how one of the, I guess, like, plans left on the rack from the Republican Party for effectively enacting a coup this election, overturning the election, whatever, was the 3 out of 5 Georgia Board of Electors who passed a rule saying that they could, like, suspend certification of the election pending reasonable concerns they had about the veracity of the votes that were counted. Well, it seems that that went to court, and the judge who has taken that case is the same judge who recently overturned Georgia's abortion ban, and he's basically Karl Marx reincarnated. Judge signals he may rule Georgia counties must certify election results on time. This is actually potentially huge. This might effectively nullify the, the extent to which the Board of Elections Committee can up the sorry, I'm failing a little bit here in the delivery, in part because I'm tired and also in part because maybe perhaps I'm unused to delivering something that approximates good news. It's good news, folks. An Atlanta-based judge overseeing 2 cases dealing with whether Georgia county election boards must certify election results by the state's November deadline signaled Tuesday he is likely to rule that certification is mandatory, even if board members can investigate issues before the deadline. Basically, again, for those of you who don't know, there are 5 people on the Georgia county election board. 3 of them are like hardline election result denying MAGA freaks. They're insurrectionists, effectively. Donald Trump shouted them out by name, essentially signaling to them, like, we see you, thank you for like pushing to win us this election in Georgia, even if the Dems get more votes there. And almost immediately after being shouted out by Donald Trump, the 3 of the 5 people on the board, the majority, put a rule saying that they could suspend certifying the results of the election from Georgia and sending the electors to D.C., which is, of course, what you need to do for the whole electing the president thing to happen, if they have reasonable concerns about the votes. So what that essentially meant, like, let's be real here, if Kamala Harris won in Georgia, they would suspend the electors and delay and delay and delay. And the delays would give rise to lawsuits and media discourse and so on and so forth. It would be like a very deliberate and very targeted effort to effectively, like, undo the victory. If Donald Trump wins in Georgia, then of course they would just go right through with it. There is no question that they are doing this for partisan reasons. And they were taken to court for this decision, and it seems like it's going to be ruled in our favor. Now, I'm not sure whether or not this also means they're going to be rolling back, because there's another legal challenge here. They also said that there would be a mandate that all votes had to be hand counted on the day of the election to prevent, like, early votes from being pre-counted, essentially. I think that might be the other of the 2 cases that this judge is dealing with. And if this judge is dealing with it, this guy being, of course, Karl Marx reincarnated, here he is, Fulton County Superior Court Judge Robert McBurney, ideally, I think he would rule in our favor in that one as well. They are just trying to cheat. Ruling in our favor in this case is literally just ruling for fair play, ruling for the rules as they existed beforehand. This is not one partisan slant versus another. This is literally like the way things were, even, versus open insurrectionists trying to undermine the election results. How do they transition to Trump in power by delaying one state? Because it opens up time and bias and legal challenges. It would be a signal to other states to delay sending their electors, to create false slates of electors to send. Also, we don't really have a constitutional process for the delay of the sending of electors past the point where, the slate is meant to be, like, certified, meant to be verified, right? Remember January 6th? What were they trying to do? They were trying to stop certification of the elector count. What happens if one of the states still hasn't provided the electors up to that point? We don't really have an answer to that, because all of this is like deliberate rule breaking. None of this is in line with a basic constitutional process. This is being done in bad faith, the twisting, bending, and breaking of rules to beget a different outcome. What outcome will it bring? All we know is that they're doing it to Kamala Harris up. I mean, I think he even says this. Judge Robert C.I. McBurney said Tuesday that he thought it would be a problematic ruling if he were to say a board member's discretion encompasses the ability of a board member to decline to certify some or all of the votes. You could very easily have an outcome where there's no certification. How is that consistent with the law? Yeah, that essentially his argument is like, we don't have a process for this. If random like state level bureaucrats have the ability to flat out deny the certification of the votes in a state, what the fuck does that even mean? Like, these people are supposed to be, these are just like little bureaucrats at a state level. They can do that. They can just snap their fingers and effectively delete millions or tens of millions of counted votes. Like, it's so, like, there's no process for this. So, it is openly insurrectionary, and I am glad that this guy is presiding over the case. I get that, Vosh, but isn't the most likely legal outcome that Biden just sits in the office till things are worked out? I would love to share your optimism, but I really don't think we can rely on them bending and breaking every rule they can in the hopes that things just work out. First of all, I'm not here taking chances on whether that ends up being the case. But second of all, they wouldn't do it if they didn't think it was to their advantage. Like, why, like you, I feel like that this is like optimism bordering on naivete. You're like being led up to the wall in the death camp, and you're like, I really thought that would work out. No, they're doing it deliberately to change the results if Kamala Harris wins here. Maybe Kamala Harris doesn't even win in Georgia and ends up being a wasted effort anyway, but Oh, I don't think they'd give up. I'm just curious about it from a neutral legal perspective. That's what he's providing here. Judge Robert C.I. McBurney. He's providing the neutral legal perspective. There is no, the rules of our country are not like the rules of the universe where they self-correct and everything has a potential outcome as far as we know. Past the event horizon, as far as we know, like as long as you're outside that line, like everything can have a potential outcome. Legally, sometimes you just break the system and you have to hastily try to repair it. And I really do not want to be hastily repairing the system in like in an atmosphere where the entire right wing and their multi-billion-dollar media apparatus are screaming from the rooftops that we're cheating and they won the election even though they didn't. That is not an environment where I want to, like, we're talking about trying to scamper and scrape together legal arguments with no precedent from judges that'll be getting death threats from like 3% or militias because they're convinced that we're trying to steal the election again. I don't want there to be any ambiguity on the final hurdle, okay? This shit needs to be locked up solid and tight. Should the National Guard be preemptively deployed to protect the certification of the Capitol this time? Sure. As long as Kamala Harris is the one who wins. Pepe. Adam Sudful County would care They want the judge to declare that regardless of the two new rules, county election boards must certify the upcoming election results by the November deadline. According to their drafters, the rule set in the assumption that certification of election results by a county board is discretionary and subject to free-ranging inquiry that may delay certification or render it wholly optional, which would be fucking psycho. Yeah. If Trump wins in GA, they will certify it instantly anyway. If Trump wins in Georgia, the state elector board will basically be like, we found some discrepancies in the form of Trump should have won by more actually, but because the outcome wouldn't change even if we factored for that. We're gonna send this ahead. Like that's what they're gonna get. Democrats and Republicans agree on the surface. The state board, the Republican groups, and Democrat groups all agreed at the outset of Tuesday's proceedings that county election boards are legally required to certify results by 5 p.m. EDT on November 12th, a week after Election Day. A Georgia statute explicitly states that election returns shall be certified by the county superintendent no later than 5 p.m. the Monday after Election Day, which would fall on Veterans Day, November 11th this year. However, they maintain their discretion over whether Judge McBurney could officially say so ahead of the upcoming presidential contest. So Republicans are saying, yeah, there should be a requirement for them to certify the election results by November 12th, unless any discretions are found by the MAGA elected, like Georgia County Elections Board, in which case, obviously, they should have the right to investigate that. Literally, like, that's the argument being made here. Republicans are like, yeah, of course we want to certify the results really quick, unless they find something, untoward. Are you guys ready for it all to happen all over again? Remember 2020? Remember how every minute of every day the right-wing media was coming up with a new fake story about votes being stolen or overcounted? And it was always just like, here's like CCTV footage of a black woman standing innocuously in the middle of a room doing nothing. See how like the pixels moved here? That's her. She just stole 20,000 votes from Donald Trump. And then the right-wing media would like blow it up and balloon it and talk about it. And you have to learn all the talking points to debunk them. And then by the next day, they would move on to the next one. We're 5 weeks away. It's going to be even worse this time. Arguing on behalf of Democrats, lawyer Kurt G. Kastorf said his clients are concerned that without a court ruling on the contrary, county officials who don't believe they can properly determine a particular vote should count might conclude under the new rules they should exclude the vote from the certification total or should refuse to vote for certification. All of these are possibilities that a county official could take that would prevent a voter from having their votes legally cast. Speaking for the Georgia Republican Party, lawyer Baxter D. Drennan said it wasn't appropriate for the judge to make a ruling based on hypotheticals that haven't come to pass. What? What about contract law? What are you talking about? That absolutely happens all the time. Laws, that's what laws do. Judges do that. Jurisprudence is made on like a caveat. Not every bit of jurisprudence has to be hammered out if like it already happened. If that was the case, why on earth would people refer to jurisprudence? They could just refer to a case record of everything that's ever happened. You wouldn't need the jurisprudence because there wouldn't be any like extended hypothetical reasoning from the jurisprudence that you could refer to as part of reasoning for a following like court case. I hate you. They hate us. They want us dead. It's like they're so obviously contemptuous. You look at their legal arguments and they're like grinning. They're like giggling as they make them. They know this isn't valid. They know this isn't real. They know this is a lie. They don't care. If you're going to legally challenge this potential outcome, you can only do it after we've already delayed the certification, thereby subjecting yourself to incredibly like political partisan media coverage where the right wing is going to accuse you of literally being Hitler for not allowing them to delay the certification of the votes past the point where it's supposed to be certified in a national level. And you're going to get bombs in your mailbox. You're going to be mailed anthrax because they're going to say that they're going to call you a Jew. They're going to call you gay. They're going to say you're trying to kill Donald Trump. They're going to say you're doing the steal again. There are going to be people, right-wingers, who make their media careers off of the threats they'll make towards you. They're like, literally, it's going to be like the next Haktua. You know, there's going to be some fat dipshit, thumb-necked motherfucker at a rally calling for your death who's going to do something funny to a camera, and he's going to have a talk show. He's going to appear on Fox News 6 months later. Chill? Yeah, I agree. Right-wing media should chill. The Republicans should chill. That's what they're going to do. I'm not making a joke. Why would you think it's a joke? Anyone who was around for 2020 who thinks that I'm joking right now, you've forgotten. You've literally just forgot. It's not a joke. Yeah, 3-year-olds in chat want to be educated on this? Judge suggests a certification comment box. Some of Lawson's ensuing comments indicated he didn't believe the law required Adams to vote yes in certification. He noted that as a board member, Adams takes an oath to prevent any fraud and make a true and perfect return of primaries and elections. I do think a no vote just has to be permitted. They are literally, in this legal argument, they are literally arguing we need to be able to deny the certification. Like that, this is the reason you want to settle this out now, because they have to be able to explicitly say and look you in the eye like, nah, we should be able to like do a coup if we wanna. Like, let's be real. You know, we're not gonna, but if we wanna, we should be able to do a coup. It's insane, Mason M. Remember the Project 2025 revolution? It's gonna be bloodless if the left allows it to be. Yep. It's still good news. I had good news for real, for real. Nah, well, you know. Arizona Republicans are trying to roll back their voter ID laws after realizing they're hurting GOP voters more than Democrats. How Arizona Republicans' voter purge scheme blew up in their faces. Republicans in Arizona over the past several years have enacted proof of citizenship requirements for registered voters with the purported goal of eliminating the threat of undocumented immigrants from voting. However, Just Security reports that many of the same Republicans have been changing their tune recently after they discovered the laws would purge a large number of registered Republicans. Ha! Hold on now. I'm about to make a moral argument for voter purging as long as it affects the people that I don't like. All right, I just made it. Was it compelling? Do you feel convinced? Maricopa County Recorder Stephen Richard discovered a glitch in Arizona's driver license database caused nearly 100,000 registered voters not to meet the proof of citizenship requirements under the state's recently revised election laws. Yeah, hold on. Jiggle, 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 jiggle. Look at this guy. You gotta kick me? You want to kick? Yes. Ooh, he's rowdy. Wait, hold on. Ooh. He's trying to escape. Bite. I'm trying to get him to, like, bite my arm. Like, in view of the... Nah, he wants to escape. Mwah. Be free. Richard filed an emergency petition with the Arizona Supreme Court arguing the law states these voters should be deemed ineligible to vote in upcoming elections, only to be opposed in court by the same Republicans who had long championed such rules. Again, like, there needs to be a legal process for putting people like this in jail. Genuinely. When Republican legislators and judges are like, yeah, we should disenfranchise votes to, protect the union. Oh, wait, it's hitting Republicans? Wait. Like, it's a level of blatant partisanship and ideological disingenuousness that there needs to be a system for arresting these people, man. You can't survive this.